real live this shit we talk about, you hear me? Real deal live this stupid ass. You niggas stupid or what? Go look at our video. Cuz say you the last one standing. Like I said, cuz. Money type shit. Who gives a fuck? That's what you niggas been waiting on. Well, all this, what you niggas.
What's going on, family? Greetings from the channel once again. We're going to break down some real hip-hop insanity that has the streets buzzing. So before we jump into this crazy situation, make sure you hit the subscribe button and enable notifications. We're going to discuss NBA YoungBoy's response to Pushy making jabs at him today. And believe me, this beef is going to blow up quickly. Pay attention. When Pushy he immediately went to B Don's stream after being released from prison to argue with his fans. However, during that stream, some completely unexpected drama surfaced that no one anticipated. The worst part is this: Rocky I, a streamer, was on the phone with Ben. Additionally, Rock I began claiming to be 4KT when he gave Pooty the phone. For those who are unaware, that is the NBA YoungBoy's crew. However, have a look at this. Pooh Shy pretended not to understand the meaning of 4KT, direct disregard for live broadcast in front of all viewers. Don't misunderstand though, there's more to this feud than a few online clout shots. This goes deeper now. We're talking about decades-old industry links, prison rules, street politics, and loyalty. This is more than just a feud between two rappers. It has to do with taking sides in a conflict that has already caused damage. From NBA YoungBoy to Lil Durk riding with Pooh Shiesty during his federal case to King Von's untimely demise in Atlanta, this story is far from finished, as evidenced by Boy's most recent Instagram live comment. We're going to dissect each and every component of this puzzle. You'll understand why this beef could become lethal if it's not handled properly by the conclusion of the movie, I promise. We were able to go back to the 6th of November, 2020, in order to comprehend all of the insanity. The night that rocked the streets and permanently altered everything. Lil Durk's closest friend and practically his younger brother, King Von, was outside an Atlanta hookah lounge when he encountered Quando Rondo and his group. For months, Von and Quando had been disparaging one another on social media, but nobody anticipated what would happen next. Quando Rondo claims that at first, he was unaware that it was King Von. In an interview with Angela Ye, he said that he was only going to let them pass, but someone struck first. A straightforward fistfight turned into a full-fledged gunfight. Law Tim, Quando's friend, is said to have shot Van several times. The streets lost him that night in an instant. The shock waves were immediately felt by the hip-hop community. This is where NBA YoungBoy becomes involved. YoungBoy's first rapper to sign to his Never Broke Again label was Quando Rondo. They were therefore close, like family. Even though YoungBoy wasn't present that evening and had no involvement in what transpired, he was immediately thrown into the heart of this conflict when Quando became entangled in that drama with Von. Family, the streets don't follow the rules. They immediately became enemies because they believed that YoungBoy's artist had eliminated Durk's closest friend. When NBA YoungBoy released songs like Bring the Hook, directly mentioning O Block by name and presumably making fun of Van's memory, things became even more chaotic. The hip-hop world was literally rocked by lines like this one, where Squid Game O Block pack gets rolled up. Lil Durk realized he had to reply at that point. In an instant, the smoldering conflict between NBA YoungBoy and him became official. We must now examine their past in order to see why Pooh Shiesty is so devoted to Lil Durk. Durk appeared on Ty's song, Back in Blood, back in 2020, and Pooh Shiesty's entire career was altered by that collaboration. Nothing else could have made him as famous as that song, which was his first big smash. And Durk's co-signer was the reason for it all, Pooh's shyness. Even while he's currently working hard in Memphis in search of his next big move, his devotion to Durk goes much beyond a single song. The majority of the industry recovered when Pooh was imprisoned on federal charges in 2021. It simply operates that way. Lil Durk did not remove himself to prevent government attention on his own profession. He remained steady during the entire bid. In every performance and interview, Durk would call out Pooh Shiesty, yelling from the stage, "Free Pooh Shiesty." In this game, loyalty like that is uncommon. And for that reason, their relationship goes beyond mere clout or gossip. When everyone else switched to the next popular musician, Durk kept Pooh Shiesty's name alive. In addition, he was a major contributor to funding Pooh's publications and ensuring his integrity while incarcerated. In that level of devotion, uncommon in this game, family. The majority of artists will abandon you as soon as you start to cause problems. However, Dirk demonstrated to Pooh what true friendship looks like. Thus, when Shiesty got home, he knew right away who was there to support him no matter what. He was eager to get back in touch with his followers and resume his musical career. Pooh joined Ben Dion's webcast to simply snap pictures with fans and express gratitude to everyone who had restrained him while he was incarcerated. However, some intense industry turmoil began to surface during that stream. While Ben was on the phone with him, Rahi, a well-known ardent NBA YoungBoy supporter, called in. Rahi chose to test the waters by asserting after Ben handed the phone to Pooh, he was 4K. That's the team of NBA YoungBoy. And that's exactly what everyone in the rap game understands. Pooh's reply is instructive. He pretended not to understand what Rahi was discussing, asking directly, "What's that?" "I've never heard of 4KT. Subtle motions and words in this game can ignite a whole new wave of animosity, as evidenced by the instantaneous online comments and street conversations that followed that response. Let's be honest now. Rahi's words were perfectly understood by Pushes. It had nothing to do with ignorance. It was just refusing to acknowledge anything related to the NBA YoungBoys camp. Disrespect like that goes beyond simply ignoring someone. It's a complete rejection, as if you don't even care about their entire movement. And that's one of the worst things you can do on the streets. However, his response went beyond the conflict between YoungBoy and Dirk. No, this was a private matter. It has to do with loyalty. The devotion Dirk showed him at his darkest moments, when he was abandoned by the entire industry. That connection is far more profound than tracks or clout. On the stream, the evidence was evident. You could see when a female fan said she didn't tamper with Lil Durk. Pooh's entire energy changed. He changed from being calm and collected to being obviously agitated, with genuine feeling and rage. Then, YoungBoy had his own response to Pooh's release of his debut Day Out song, NB. When questioned about the song during an Instagram live, YoungBoy essentially made fun of it and laughed it off. He asked, making fun of Pooh's comeback, "Is that what y'all have been waiting on?" It was a powerful moment since it revealed YoungBoy's exact location in the streets. He didn't view Pooh as a danger, didn't even acknowledge him as a significant player in the rap game, and wasn't taking him seriously. Such a dismissal merely feeds the flames for what's to come. Being made fun of. That can sometimes hurt more than a direct jab. When someone laughs at you, they are essentially stating, "You aren't even worth my time." However, YoungBoy's response also made a strong statement. He is fully aware of the situation and is not supporting. Down by making fun of Ty's return. No amount of loyalty can make up for the time Pooh Shiesty lost while incarcerated. He was making very clear. Pooh was not going to overlook that. He took a straight shot at his Instagram story after witnessing YoungBoy's response. He began criticizing rappers who were capping their songs, saying that he was the only one who was experiencing what he was talking about. That was a direct assault on YoungBoy's legitimacy and sincerity. It hit the streets hard, I promise. This action demonstrated that Pooh Shiesty is no longer merely standing up for Lil Durk. No, it's personal now. He's getting involved in the conflict himself. And you've officially crossed a boundary that's difficult to recover from when someone in hip-hop challenges your sincerity, especially if they have young lad street cred. Every step is being seen by the streets. The posts on Instagram stories indicate that this feud will not simply end in music. It's also taking place on social media. Both supporters and adversaries will analyze every post, story, and remark. Beef is no longer limited to the tracks in today's game. Every digital action matters in this never-ending battle for the feeds. The streets are aware that this story is far from finished, and the heat is genuine. Let's maintain it at 100 now. This is an extremely risky position. Both Pooh Shiesty and NBA YoungBoy are more than just rappers. They have devoted crews that don't play when it comes to disrespect, and they have a lot of street cred. When musicians with this degree of street connections are at odds, it can go well beyond social media and music. Examine it. There are members of YoungBoy's 4KT crew all around Louisiana, and they put in a lot of effort to support their boss. These aren't merely admirers. These are actual street soldiers who joined YoungBoy long before he became well known. They take it personally when they treat him disrespectfully. Without any questions, they are prepared to take action. Lil Durk has connections to Chicago, and Pooh Shiesty represents Memphis. You may create anarchy by combining Chicago drill culture with Memphis street politics. Strict standards of loyalty and respect govern both cities. and things can quickly become chaotic when that collides with the street culture of Louisiana. This beef actually poses a threat to those who have already experienced that type of discomfort. Lil Durk still feels the pain of losing King Von. Dealing with those who have lost close friends to violence can cause emotions to run high and reasonable thought to vanish. Common sense begins to give way to revenge, and that's when things become lethal. This is more than just a musical tale. If not managed appropriately, this conflict between allegiances, street codes, and history could blow up. The risks are genuine, and every action is being observed by the streets. The power both musicians have over their followers is another reason this feud is so risky. Both NBA YoungBoy and Pooh Shiesty have youthful, naive fans that aspire to be devoted to them. Some of these fans may intervene and escalate the conflict much beyond the artist's original intentions when they witness their favorite musicians at odds. However, there is more to this feud than just two musicians. It's a part of a larger trend in hip-hop at the moment where musicians are compelled to choose a side in disputes. It's not always about their own actions or inactions. They are being forced to choose groups by industry, politics, and loyalty. Forget about neutrality. Either you are riding alongside someone, or you are riding against them. The complexity of the rap game is demonstrated by this circumstance. Sometimes you're at odds with someone just because of who you're loyal to, not because of anything they did to you directly. That is this culture's opposite. The lovely aspect is observing genuine devotion in a game with many fictitious companions. The risky aspect is that the same loyalty may lead you into conflicts that could endanger your job or worse. What should be done, then, to prevent things from getting worse? Both performers must acknowledge the influence they have over their crews and audience. Every public remark, song, and post communicates with those who are willing to take action on their behalf. If you make a mistake, the streets could escalate the situation. Responsibility and awareness are the only ways to stop this from developing into something really hazardous. Family, the industry must also take action. These rappers should be encouraged to resolve their issues peacefully by other artists, label executives, and prominent hip-hop figures. Too many gifted artists have already passed away due to conflicts that could have been resolved through dialogue. NBA YoungBoy and Pooh Shiesty are both well known enough that they don't need to disparage individuals on every single in order to sell music. They possess the skill, the fan base, and the ability to achieve success without continuously escalating the drama. The true question is, if they are prepared to prioritize their safety and professions over their reputation on the street. Because this battle is ultimately about more than just rap. It's about respect, devotion, and the complex politics of the music business and the streets. The strongest devotion to Lil Durk, definitely admirable. However, it has also put him in jeopardy, inheriting adversaries with whom he had no personal problems. Here's the worst part. This is far from being resolved. Things might get out of control at any time because both sides have devoted fan bases and genuine street cred. The hip-hop community must examine current events critically, learn from previous disasters, and develop non-violent means of resolving disputes. What are your thoughts on the entire situation? Should Pooh Shiesty try to remain impartial, or should he always ride for Lil Durk? What about YoungBoy from the NBA? Was he merely defending himself, or was his response outright disrespectful? Let go of your thoughts, since every action matters in this story, and the streets are keeping an eye on you. You don't want to miss a second of the heat we're dropping here at Rap Uncovered, so before we wrap this up, make sure you press the subscribe button and enable notifications. We never sleep, and neither do the streets. We're only getting started, and I assure you that there are still a ton of untold tales to discover. We're drop fire every single day, and tomorrow's upload will be even more insane, profound, and unmissable. Please hit the like button, tell all of your friends about this video, and leave a comment with your ideas. We would like to get your thoughts on this conflict, as well as everything that is happening in the hip-hop world. In this game, fan devotion is crucial, but occasionally it has a cost that some people would not be able to afford. We'll be right here, and this beef is just getting started, analyzing each move, post, and song in real time. So make sure you're riding with us, remain alert, and stay safe. Here at Rap Uncovered, we'll see you in the next one, where the reality of the streets resides.